Imagine, if you will, a world where children weren't born, but grown, in hidden labs, mass-produced like dolls, then shipped across continents to repopulate a shattered society. What if the orphan trains weren't just charity? They were a cover for something far more sinister. And those innocent Cabbage Patch Kids? A coded nod to a cloning program that reshaped humanity after a global reset. Today, we're diving into the wild theories of Guy Anderson, asking, was cloning real in the 1800s? Stick around. This gets bizarre. Hey, welcome back. And if this is your first time, welcome to Humanly Curious. This is where we explore the fringe and the mysterious, and we chase after the weird, the wild, and the what ifs. I'm just a regular guy here, no AI, fighting back against the robot takeover of YouTube. If you've seen my original video, The Mystery of the Orphan Trains, a forgotten chapter of mass relocation, you know, with that weird Cabbage Patch Kids coincidence. Well, today, we're building on that. But we're zeroing in on a fresh angle that I had not discovered until I was doing research on that first video. Cloning in the 1800s. It was too late for me to include that in my original video. And besides, I figured that it needed to have its own separate discussion because that's an entirely different rabbit hole in and of its own. Drawing from researcher Guy Anderson's explosive claims in his book, Rise of the Clones, the Cabbage Patch Babies, we'll explore some what ifs, some evidence, as well as some skepticism. Remember, this is all about curiosity. Let's question it all together. Hit like if you like, and if I earn it, please hit subscribe and help me grow this channel. Let's dive in. To understand cloning's alleged role, we need context from the reset theories I've touched on before, like the mud floods bearing Tartarian wonders, as in my buried buildings video. Guy Anderson, a former Freemason turned researcher who is fascinated by Egyptian history and ancient epics, argues this reset wasn't just natural disasters. It was orchestrated chaos starting around 1776, kicking off a 250-year New World Order era after a millennium of peace, which on a side note echoes the Satan's Little Season theory, a theory that Jason Jack here on YouTube covers quite thoroughly. Picture this: the Tartarian Empire, with its advanced tech hidden in star forts and grand asylums, crumbles under civil wars, famines, and genocides. Anderson points to the Napoleonic Wars and American Civil War as tools to slash populations. Estimates say billions reduced to millions. Why? To erase old knowledge and rebuild under elite control. Survivors? Silenced in asylums, as I speculated in my video, Insane Asylums Buried in Time, were committed to keep quiet about the old world. Their kids? Possibly whisked away via the orphan trains. But here's the cloning twist. Post-reset, humanity needed a repopulation boost. Anderson claims cloning, rediscovered ancient tech was the answer. Not sci-fi Dolly the sheep stuff from 1996, but tech echoing back to Sumerian myths of godlike beings engineering early humans for labor. What if the 1800s elites revived this for a quick, quote, baby boom? Anderson's core claim: orphan trains were cloning pipelines. From 1854 to 1929, over 250,000 kids, possibly double that, were shipped from East Coast cities to the Midwest and beyond. Official history calls it charity, overcrowded orphans placed with families. But Anderson asks, where did all these kids come from? Post-reset orphans? Sure. But what if many were manufactured? He ties this to, quote, baby farms and incubator babies at World's Fairs, like the ones I questioned in my World's Fair Enigma video, where dream cities of exceptional architecture were built, then mysteriously burned down. At the 1904 St. Louis Expo or 1893 Chicago Fair, premature babies were displayed in glass cases, quote, grown with tech that allegedly sped development. A 9-month gestation in a week? Anderson says these were cloning prototypes, distributed via trains to farms, mines, and factories for the Industrial Revolution. Non-English speakers from Russia or Ukraine forced to adopt new identities, erasing old world memories. Resistors shipped to asylums, linking back to my Insane Asylums Buried in Time video. And the weirdest part, those orphan trains connected to the foundlings who were a subset of the broader orphan train population, distinguished by their unknown origins with no records. Perfect for cloned kids, lacking natural origins. Anderson references early films by Alice Guy Blasch, showing couples, quote, buying babies from Cabbage Patches, rooted in Slavic folklore, but coded for real artificial births. Well, if Anderson's right, this sure flips history on its head. We've got orphan trains as cloning delivery systems, tying into both mud flood survivors as well as grandiose, insane asylums that had been lost to history. But what about those Cabbage Patch Kids? They're not just toys. They're a clue. Let's unpack that next. And remember, this is speculative. Could it explain population booms? Or is it too out there? If your mind's racing like mine, drop a comment with your theories. But keep watching though, as skeptics lurk around the corner. Enter the Cabbage Patch Kids, those chubby dolls that exploded in the 1980s, complete with adoption papers and birth certificates. Creator Xavier Roberts drew from folk tales, but Anderson sees a deeper code. Late 1800s postcards show babies literally growing in cabbage patches, mailed worldwide as, quote, repopulation propaganda. Why? To normalize artificial births suggesting the doll's whimsical backstory and adoption themes echo ancient creation myths from Egyptian or Sumerian lore, where gods engineered life in hidden ways. The Cabbage Patch metaphor, a stand-in for cloning vats or incubators, where kids were, quote, harvested like crops. He points to similarities. Dolls adopted like orphan trained kids, with unique origins masking mass production. And those World's Fair incubators, public demos of the tech, blending charity with covert experiments. Ties to Tartaria? Post-mud flood, elites like the Rockefellers allegedly destroyed free energy tech and used cloning to rebuild. Anderson speculates figures like Elon Musk today might be cloned or controlled via implants. But in the 1800s, it was about sheer numbers. 500,000 kids redistributed to fill empty lands. Now, let's pump the brakes. This is fascinating, but let's unfortunately check in with what the skeptics have to say. Mainstream history views orphan trains as a flawed welfare effort by groups like the Children's Aid Society. Kids were often urban poor or immigrants' children, placed to escape poverty, not clones. Many ended up as cheap labor, yes, but no evidence of artificial origins. Cloning tech? Mainstream science says that was impossible in the 1800s. Real breakthroughs started with frogs in the 1950s. Humans, much later. Anderson's ancient ties? Perhaps more mythology than science. Sumerian stories are mostly considered to be folklore, not proof. Cabbage Patch postcards? Victorian whimsy or marketing for adoption awareness, not codes. World's Fairs? Legit medical displays saving premature babies. That has been well documented, not secret labs. And Tartaria resets. Geologists continue to say that they have found no evidence of a global mud flood, and refer to Tartaria as pseudo-history, blending real architecture with fantasy. Anderson's Freemason past adds flavor, but critics say it's confirmation bias. So what if it's all coincidence? Or does this puzzle just seem to fit a little too well? Well, this story sure made a lot of unscheduled stops around Conspiracy Lane. Guy Anderson's cloning theories paint a wild picture. 1800s resets via mud floods, orphan trains redistributing Cabbage Patch clones to rebuild Tartaria's shadow. We've got postcards, expos, and ancient myths as evidence. But we've also got some solid counterpoints too. Is it a hidden truth or just a captivating what if? That is for you to decide. Comment below. Cloning real back then or tall tale? And if you found this interesting, please throw me a like. And if I've earned it, subscribe for further edge explorations. I'm just a solo creator, not AI, chasing after the unknown and bringing it to you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.